And we're back. This is a Middle Perch live on the internet. I am MTK on the MIC. It is Tuesday, the 12th of February in Asia, in Japan, China, Australia, and even now in India. Very early in the morning there on Tuesday, the 12th of February. The 11th of February. And you are listening to a Middle Perch live. With all chair squeaks included. And today we are going to be cutting some collage material. Really like this guy. Look at this guy. Isn't that cool looking? This is from a Dos Equis coaster. And I've got a few of them here. And today we're going to be cutting out some material. Not sure when. To remember to not just be talking all the time, right? I have used my standard methodology, which has been to just trying to today we are going to do that. And I think, and you can probably still hear me too, which is cool. I am back on Twitter at MTK. Again, I took 10 months off. I was on it for 7 years and then decided, the fact that it was steering me too much, it was pushing me in directions of conversations I did not want to be in. It had me going down rabbit holes. I was waking up and connecting with the world as much as the Twitterverse. For me, same feeling might be happening with Facebook. I never engaged in Facebook and don't plan to. And I also started Instagram and dumped it, especially because I began to see it was sending me down a road I didn't want to go down. And they are fundamentally censored spaces. And I pushed it to see what would happen in the Instagram environment, and it was much more conservative. They're using this for that, so stopped Instagram. But decided I want to be back on Twitter because much as I did in the old days, in fact, I made myself a set of rules about Twitter this time around. I'm not going to use it every day. I'm going to try to use it, minimum every other day. And ideally, twice a week. I was thinking, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Something like that. Or Monday and Friday. Or Wednesday and Sunday. Immediately when I go onto Twitter, it interferes with the way I look at the news. This is an aspect of social media that is perfectly and exactingly described in the Spanish paint. No, just kidding. I just happened to grab both of them. in the remarkable book, Anti-Social Media, the first ever written about Facebook and the most accurate and the least contrived or sponsored by anybody else. It's an academic publication by one of our tenured academics at one of the oldest universities in the country. It is published by Oxford. It is really imperative for anybody who is using Facebook or really any social media. We kind of just got stampeded into this, and Siva's book slows it down and brings us all back to a more sensible pace and how you use Facebook. He's not, after all, saying, look, you should use Facebook, so you have to know how to use Facebook. I think that he gives us some powerful how Facebook disconnects us and democracy. It is a substantiated charge. Please get it now. Am I reconnected? Looks like I got disconnected there. I don't know why. I like that it happened. Mic is great, but it picks up everything, you know. So if you had some powerful tool that you used every single day, like your computer or something, you didn't know if it was spying on you, and you didn't know if it was learning about you to using them, which is what I think happened with the cloud. The cloud just got shoved upon us in the space of about 7 years. 2012, 2010, 2012, it still was slightly in the distance, this idea that we're all live on the cloud. And the tools with which everybody wanted to quickly keep up with each other, particularly young folk here now, I'm talking about 20-year-olds and 30s, that we didn't really understand what it was we were giving away when we gave it away. And this book, Anti-Social, and help you to change that. Change the text in which you are participating. Well, privacy is for many reasons. Freedom, fundamental freedom as beings. If I have a space like this one, for example, and I conduct my exercises in creativity or thought here, free. I need to freely be able to entertain notions so that I can banter them about with myself. Observed and shared with others. It can be manipulated or vocal in protest until I turned 40. It's now for younger people. Could easily be recontextualized by someone, the refugee from Somalia, or that's one version of that, but it could be terrorist for that matter. Things I've said about San Antonio in anger, you know, things I've said about other places, days I've said I'm mad at the US or I hate the US. In a position like mine, what is my position? And I'd like to be me, and or other forms of communication, non-political forms of communication, they're mine, protected by the where'd it go? Normally I must have needed it for something. My objective is humanism. My objective is socialism. My objective is the betterment of places and people everywhere in the world. And to do that, we have to chip against a massive propaganda tool. That is not easy. It is comparable in many ways to what the anti-Soviet poets and writers were doing under the oppression of the Soviet Union. From the standpoint of conveying the ideas that we're trying to convey at large, and substantiate them and give people an opportunity to believe in peace. I'm absolutely oppressed in my ability to give people in the United States the opportunity to believe in peace or in socialism, because war and capitalism dominate the discourse. And we are told to be an American, you must support war and capitalism. And that is nonsense. It certainly wasn't like that when I arrived in this country, and it shouldn't be like that now. Makes no sense. The best of America is that we hope to diversify and create a model society within which everyone can contribute meaningfully toward a better world, right? And we have lots of worsts that we're not addressing and we're not admitting. We're not admitting how bad we are, and we are very bad. And our evils have been compounded in recent days, and in particular after the attacks of 9/11. So, to live in this country, to know the rules, to know the society, to participate as an American, to be loved as an American, and to be able to communicate with Americans things that we're doing wrong, in my opinion, has been the bulk of my production. And then collecting and representing viewpoints that have been deleted or erased or voided by no one protecting them, which is what this room is full of. Much material that only I possess. I know that's true about some things that are here right now. And from outside the academy, it's very hard to engage with everyone, like the everyone at large. I will probably have to go to the academy soon with some of the material and or cultural institutions and say to them, look, this can't go on like this anymore. I can't be the sole keeper of this datum. And that's fine. But once again, the knowledge becomes restricted to the place where it goes. In the academy, less so. You're able to go and look up things that the academy publishes. But in museums, where some of my work resides, much of my work resides, you have to go there to see it. You have to seek it out. It's a little more difficult. It's still available, but a little more difficult. So now comes the question of how to, in my 50s, pull this material together, share it with others, and that brings us to this live stream. A middle perch is a place where I hope to do that just at large with things that I have in advance of professionalizing them for display or archivally collecting them for institutionalization. Yeah. So we're going to do a little... Man. It's nice to have a mic, but it's loud and clunky and all the noises you guys got to put up with. I think if we just go like that, right? I can slide this way. You can basically see what we're doing here. So we're going to replace the blade. I use Pro Edge handles because when I worked with Christopher Wilde and others in New York, they were popular and I like them. I rarely have to replace the handles. I mean, the lettering fades over time. Sometimes you have to be a little careful with this because it's sharp. There we go. So you push it through. Once it's loose, you can slide it out. Get my new blades right here. Come in packs. Change your blades. Like, why would you not? Sort of an obvious play to keep your work tight. Oops. So then it's back in, tightened. What happened to the music? And I've recently been watching these process videos of people who are producing recompositions. I'm not sure. Oh, also, by the way, you want to have, anytime this happens, you don't want to accidentally have a blade that you know is bad lying around. You might end up using it. And so what I do, I think everybody does, is you want a container for the I call it dead soldiers. You want a container for the dead soldiers so you don't accidentally end up reusing one that's bad, right? Drop it right in there, sealed. Now, I wonder if I could melt those. That might be interesting. I think I want I was curious whether I could get the crown out of the reverse. I can more, but I'm gonna get rid of some of that blue down around his chin and the foreground and clean it up. And we're gonna get several of these now. We're gonna pull them all out from these coasters. I'm gonna grab my magnifier. So you can see it's basically a couple of loops that are in a bendable forgeable. It's not the right term. You know what I mean? Movable. And it gives me a much better ability to see the action. Keep your blade clean as you're going. This material is not great, so you have to... It's better to winnow away what you can than risk cutting into, quality parts of the image. Can't remember what this reminds me of, this song. It's been a while since I've been doing some collage, guys, so I might be a little clunky today. Yeah, this Native American or conquistador. I don't know what he is. Is he Aztec? Is he Mexican? Is he... It's a Dos Equis lager. They also make Indio beer, which has a gorgeous Indian on it. I always enjoy Indio for that reason. Oh yeah, that's clean, baby. It really does help to have a loop, by the way, when you want to do this kind of stuff. It's not big, you know. Maybe the size of my palm at the end of the day. But he's a powerful image. And in the work I'm doing, which as we talked about in the book Consilience the other day, the work I'm doing is about deconstruction and reformation of materials. My objective is to remake the context so that the meaning of any given specific image can be mine, as opposed to what it was maybe originally purposed for, or even what it might become. Depends on that. Boy, this is going to be tough, actually. To get this really clean is going to be tough. This paper is not conducive. I've done this once before. I've only used coasters twice. The other time was for an Oakland piece. And there's something really nice about them, which is if you get them this close, you can, because of their thickness, you see how there's a paper thing going on there? Because of their thickness, you can trim using small blades. So, all you ASMR people out there will like the sound of that, right? Oh yeah, that's nice. And see, the problem with this bit is you can't really see his hair down here. So we could just do one of these moves and get rid of all of that. Yeah, I like that better. Yeah, that's good. Here we have to worry about the chin. Is rather difficult. Let's see if we can. I really love this new magnifier that I got. Of gluing in a way. Gluing is about thickness of the glue and the textures that you're putting together. This is about the thickness of the paper and your ability to kind of keep the crappy stuff on the back so that the front has a leading edge that's really crisp. Then when I put this on some other piece of paper, the contrast will be extremely high, right? So we want to gut it a little bit, Sometimes I tell people, when people ask me about my work, sculptural, I'll say, no, it's not sculpture technically. But it is because materials in marrying them together, a real strong leading edge. You see that? And that'll give us a real face here. You cut with a bevel with these kind of coasters because first one. What do you think of that? You like that? Yeah, cool. Dead soldiers, and maybe you can still see him. Kind of. Right? There he is. There's our guy. I really like the slope that goes up from his. Oh, gotta be careful.
Thank you, your number. Do you thank you?
This one's a little better. Why isn't my blade tight? It's not good. Sometimes the blade tight. You don't want it to come loose.
Do you